Hey, it's Ryan Seacrest. Life comes at you fast, which is why it's important to find some time to relax. A little you time. Enter Chumba Casino. With no download required, you can jump on anytime, anywhere for the chance to redeem some serious prizes. So treat yourself with Chumba Casino and play over 100 online casino-style games, all for free. Go to ChumbaCasino.com to collect your free welcome bonus. Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Good evening. Welcome to WSBI, your resource for success podcast program, where you get to meet inspiring women-owned businesses from across the country. And now, for your host, Kimberly McLemore.
All right. Good evening and welcome to WSBI, your Resource for Success podcast program, where you get to meet inspiring entrepreneurs and women-owned businesses from across the country. I am your host, Kimberly McLemore, the CEO and founder of the Women's Small Business Initiative, LLC, and award-winning author. And welcome to another night of sharing. With us, we have Suz Chadwick. Suz Chadwick is a bold business, branding, and speaker coach, taking your brand from basic biscuits to delectable, got-to-have goodness. If you want to be the go-to person in your industry, or you want clients clambering for your brand of awesome sauce and saying, I just have to work with you, then you're in luck. With over 10 years as a brand consultant working with global brands as well as soloprenuers, Suz knows what works when it comes to creating a brand to connect and stand out. Recognized as a top 10 branding coach, Suz is the author of Play Big, Brand Bold, host of the popular Brand Builders Lab podcast, and the creator of Brand Builders Academy. She now works with savvy women in businesses to create confidentially bold brands and profitable business through thinking bigger, going bolder, and stepping up as the CEO in their business to create a real impact. So without further ado, please help me welcome to my platform, Ms. Suz Chadwick. Hey, Suz, how are you?
I'm so good, Kimberly. I'm excited to be here.
Well, I'm excited to have you. And after all the craziness we had to get through to get you on, I'm like, oh my goodness.
This had better be good, Suz.
That's right. No. Oh, well, I'm excited to have you on, Susan. I can't wait to hear more about you and what's been going on with you. But before we actually go down that road, let's just tell the listeners a little bit more about who Suz Chadwick really is.
Yeah, absolutely. So I am based in Melbourne, Australia. I am, as you said, I'm a bold business branding and speaker coach. I have come from a corporate background like many people, but really discovered branding during my journey and just fell in love with all of the things that go with that. When it comes to messaging and visuals and campaigns and building communities and relationships around something bigger than the person, than the business. And so it's something that has really, I guess, become a true passion of mine. And so I was doing that in corporate for a long time, but I knew I wanted to do my own thing. And so I decided eventually to go out on my own and start working with entrepreneurs and mainly women in business, although not only women in business. And so it's something that I feel a lot of people don't understand fully. A lot of people, when they think about branding, they think about all the visual aspects of it. Mm-hmm. But for me, brand is really the emotional connection that you create with your audience, and also for you to be seen as a thought leader, for you to really share whatever that message is that's going to create the impact that you want to have, and then how you build the experience around it. And so that's what I talk quite a lot about. And I've been a speaker since I was 16. I was in the school debate team. So okay. I also work with entrepreneurs, and I did work with corporate leaders for a long time on how they present themselves and their messages in a really compelling way, which I feel brand is all about too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I like what you just said about the fact that, branding is not just about the look of what we see as, like a logo and so forth. It's really more profound. So kind of give us and the listeners a little bit more understanding of what you mean, about what it means to truly be brand, be brand and be bold. Because I think that you're right, that we do truly misunderstand it and construe that, because everybody tells us, oh, it's all about the look, it's the logo, it's the colors, and everything has to flow. There's got to be much more than just flowing colors, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, at the end of the day, brand is everything when it comes to you and what you do. It's the reputation that you build for yourself. It's the brand experience that people have when they come in contact with you. It's your messaging. It is the look and feel. But all of that together really creates something that I talk about, which is an intangible magnetic draw card. So for example, I love to use Apple as an example. Something, people don't queue around the block for 3 days for a phone.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
They queue around the block for 3 days because they want to be seen in a certain way. They've got the latest tech. They're an Apple person. It's part of their identity and it's part of who they are in the world and how they want to be seen. And that is part of their personal brand. Yeah. So even people who don't have a business, they have a certain way of being. I also talk about the fact that you can buy a car for $20,000 or $120,000. And the difference is not just the mechanics of it. It's about the perception of who you are when you drive that car. And so we make decisions every day, all day, around how we communicate with people, around the look of us, the things that we do, the decisions that we make. And I think that when it comes to business, it's really important for entrepreneurs to craft what they want their brand to be. And it's in all of those touch points. It's in the emails that you send. It's in how you show up on your socials. It's in how you connect behind the scenes that people don't always see. That really makes the biggest difference. And it's those key elements that makes people talk about you. Yeah, it's the things that they say about you. And it's not just that, oh, you've got a great product or service, but Suz or Kimberly make me feel this way. When I am with them, when I hear them on the podcast, when I engage with them, when I consume their content, anything that they do, it makes me feel like I can do it. It makes me feel like this is possible for me. It makes me understand what the steps are I need to take in order to achieve the outcome that they talk about. And so you've really got to look at all elements of your business and ask yourself, how do I want my customers to feel and what's the outcome I want for them, and how do I craft it in a way that reflects me and what's important to me and my values as well. So I think that's how I really want my clients to look at branding and how I want them to think about it. What am I crafting today that's going to create a bold and exceptional experience? And bold for me, when you look at the definition of the word, it's about going against the grain. It's about challenging the status quo. It's about doing things in a way that, people haven't done before. And I think for me, that's what I really want people to do. Don't look at people who are your competitors. Look at people who are outside of your industry, who are doing exceptional things, and ask yourself, how can I be bold like that, but in what I do? Right. And so it's challenging the things that you're so comfortable in doing all the time. It's thinking differently.
Right. And I think, a lot of times that, like you were saying, the people will stand in line to get the newest, phone, because you want everybody to know you have the iPhone, this is it, or same thing with the car. And I think a lot of times people get lost, get lost within that process of trying to be something that they're not. So how do you get them to turn around to realize who they really are? And let's focus kind of on the solopreneurs, because I think that's always the hardest thing, being a solopreneur. You don't have a team of people. You don't really have people being all that creative for you. You literally are figuring this all out on your own. How do you work with them on that?
Yeah, so there's a few different things, but there is a really fun exercise that I usually get my clients to do. And it is, if you were to be a commercial brand in the world that you really resonate with and that you feel truly drawn to, what would that brand be? So I'll give you a couple examples. There is a clothing store here in Australia called Gorman. It is very much a brand that is associated with me because it's artists that create, obviously, their artwork, and then it gets put into print into clothes. Now, I love Gorman and I associate my brand with Gorman because it's high quality. It lasts a long time. It has a great reputation. When you see another person wearing Gorman, you feel like that person's part of my community. Like we look at each other and we're like, hey girl, hey. And then, and also it's limited. Yeah. So for example, there is some exclusivity around it where you want to get in and you want to be part of that, because once that print's gone, it's gone. And so there's definitely a brand around it where people are super loyal. And I always say that Gorman's the only business that can send me 100 emails in a week and I never unsubscribe, because I'm always like, oh, what else have they got going on?
Right.
What else are they going to tell me? Yeah. So there's an indescribable or unexplainable connection that I have, which is what I talk about when brand is an emotional connection that you create. And so I was working with some ladies who were leadership coaches, and they described, when I said to them, what's a brand in the market that you would associate your business with? They're like, we want to be the Netflix of leadership. Like leadership training, because we want to deliver what you need when you need it. We want to anticipate what you want next, and we want it to be kind of something that you feel is accessible as well. And so if you're a solopreneur and you're like, Suz, I don't know how to do this, my question to you is, think about a brand that really resonates for you. And it may not be a big brand. It might be a little brand that you're just fanatical, passionate, drawn to. And I want you to ask yourself, what is it about that brand that really speaks to me? And how can I start to really think about, how do I create those connections for my audience? What do I love in the world that I want to put out there? What are the messages or the type of tone of voice that I want to use that I feel is really natural to me? I'm not trying to be like somebody else. I'm looking for brands that I really love to inspire me as to how I embrace that for myself. And so I think you've really got to take a step back and ask yourself those questions. How do I want to talk to my clients? How do I want to create an experience that makes them want to open my emails? How do I create products and services that have the impact that I want them to have, but also have that, magnetic effect on my clients too, or on the people I want to work with? How do I go deeper with what they need, what their problem is, what they want, and how do I bring those two things together? And so I think those are the sorts of questions you could ask yourself.
Yeah, and they're absolutely good questions. And I like how you just mentioned, the emails, because you find that people will consistently send you, every month you get all these emails. But what is it going to take for you or me per se? Hey, I want to open this up. I really want to review what you have. And then a lot of times, because when you see them, it's just a lot of information, but does it really connect to what it is that they're doing? Or what are you trying to connect to the individual in order for them to want to come and talk to you or learn about what it is that you have to offer as a business? And I seem to find that when I'm looking at some brands that, they're great at what they do, but those connections are absolutely missing, down the line. And so what you're saying is spot on, trying to understand how important it is to know who you are and what your purpose is, but then also trying to put all those little spices together to make this, as you say, those biscuits more delectable. I love it. I was like, I love this. Just even reading, your bio, you provide something that just draws you in. You have that capability to draw people in to say, oh, you know what? I wouldn't have thought about thinking about these delectable biscuits, but you know what? This is a good thing to think about. First of all, I get hungry, but then on the other hand, I was like, wow, it's just everything. Yeah. Everything made me want to learn more. It makes you want to stand out. It makes you want to hear what you have to say. And so when you're talking about that connection of branding, that absolutely plays a part. And I think, like I said, a lot of times we are lost in the sauce because
It is Ryan Seacrest here. There was a recent social media trend which consisted of flying on a plane with no music, no movies, no entertainment. But a better trend would be going to ChumbaCasino.com. It's like having a mini social casino in your pocket. Chumba Casino has over 100 online casino-style games, all absolutely free. It's the most fun you can have online and on a plane. So grab your free welcome bonus now at ChumbaCasino.com. Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply.
Recently, a new client called me and started by saying, "Mr. Morgan, I really need your help, but I'm just a nobody." Those words stunned me, and I immediately called him back, and we're now helping him and his family after a terrible accident. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Everybody who comes to our firm at their time of need is a somebody. I grew up poor, but my grandmother was like a queen to us. At Morgan & Morgan, our goal is to level the playing field for you and your family at your time of need. The insurance company has unlimited money and resources. You need a firm who can fight them toe-to-toe. For right at 30 years, we have fought them in courtrooms throughout America. Our results speak for themselves. And always remember this, everybody is a somebody, and nobody is a nobody. Visit forthepeople.com to learn about our firm, Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
So many people are, reaching out and telling you, well, you have to do it this way, you have to do it that way, and this is how you make it work. But then you get lost about, like I said, who you are, what your purpose is, what you're trying to do. And obviously, I think, too, when you're answering the questions that you were just talking about, of trying to figure out who you are, you will actually learn what the business really should be about.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, just on that too, is that, I love to say, when you read something and you're like, oh, like I want that, like that sounds amazing. I talk about, it's like dripping that sort of toffee or that chocolate across your words. And the only way that you can really do that is by having those deeper conversations with your clients. So for example, let's say somebody joins one of my programs and then I speak to them and I'm like, if I could have 100 of you, like my business would be amazing. Like you are the type of person, you're the ideal client, to me, it's like the champagne platinum client that I want. Right. So I'll then have a call with them and get voice of customer where I'm just like, so Kimberly, I'm so excited that you've joined the program, etc. Can you just tell me, what was it about the sales page, about the content, about the message that really spoke to you? Like, what was it that made you decide to come and join me in this program? And then they'll tell me things that I may not have actually picked up on. Like we kind of create this content, we do sales pages, we speak to our client, our followers, etc. But when you take the time, and I was saying this earlier, it's the stuff you do in the background that people don't see that actually helps you to strengthen the external client-facing, follower-facing work that you do and the things you put out there. So if somebody says to me, Suz, it was actually when you talked about this has been rattling around, if this has been rattling around in your head for years and you've been wanting to do it, but you've not done it, now's the time to take action. Somebody's like, I've been thinking about doing this for years, and you saying that. So now that becomes one of our key messages, because I know that the person that I really want to work with, she might be super busy. She might be booked out with clients. She might have a lot going on, but this has been rattling around in her head for a while to do this thing. Right. And so I think when we have those deeper conversations with clients around what is it about what we do and how we do it that really spoke to you, and you can collect that information, I think that can really help you to craft messages that people want to read.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And so, and I listened to you talk about, you are very passionate, and obviously I can see you on the other hand, but I'm watching you, excuse me, and I'm hearing what you're saying, and just your voice of passion, even if I didn't sell a thing or bought a thing, just listening to you allows me to be able to reach that inner peace that I need to have to say, I can go forward to this, I can do this. And I think that's a big part of communicating with people, is that it's not always about just what you physically can see, that tangible side. It really is those connections. And when you start to understand that how you can connect with yourself and connect with those people, then you can actually grow. I think that is the most important part of when it comes to anything in business. And then, of course, like you said, it really does become branding that I don't think initially you think that way, but then it just all starts to flow together. So talk to me and the listeners a little bit more about what is the process now. Do you have like a membership program, or you just have different packages that people can purchase in order to excel and to take those steps they need to take to start their business on the branding side?
Yeah, so for me, I've got Brand Builders Academy, and this is something that it's a model that I've kind of crafted and processed that I've used when I was doing one-on-one coaching, and then I moved it into a group coaching program. And it's really going through all the elements of, really understanding what is my brand strategy, like who do I want to be in the world, what's my purpose, so your vision, mission, values, etc. But I do feel like a lot of people pay that lip service without really using it as a compass in their business. So my purpose is to support women to become bold and powerful voices in the world and claim their space with confidence. And so everything that I do has to come back to that. Is the podcast that I'm on going to help me achieve that purpose? Right. Is the products and services I have going to help me achieve that purpose? All the rest of it. So Brand Builders Academy, which I've got, really takes you through brand strategy of how you're going to become known, the channels you're going to use, the message you're going to have, how you're going to put yourself out there, and how you craft that experience. We go through business strategy as well, because obviously how you're going to go out there and build your business has to be connected with the products and services, the money, the cash flow, all the rest of it. And then we also work through things like your messaging, your marketing, your systems, because every single touch point in your business is part of your brand. You can have an incredible message and you can have products and services that look great, but when people get inside, if it's not actually a great experience and you're delivering on everything, then that's a massive, cross against the brand and the brand experience, because you've not delivered to the client in the end. So we take people through that whole process to make sure all elements of their business and touch points are really, doing what they want it to do in a way that they want to do it as well. So they become known for what they want to be known for.
Right. And I love how you said that, your business is not, your academy's not just about lip service. You literally have to do the work, but you're providing everything that needs to be done, but you definitely, on the other side, they have to be a part of that process. It can't just be, you guys say, here it is, I'm laying it out on the carpet for you on the table. And then, what are you going to do with it? Because I think a lot of times we have a lot of these organizations, you have everybody who wants to be a coach, everybody who's providing certain services. But then when you get into the mix of it, and they get into that group or something, they're really not getting the delivery. And even if they are getting delivery, then like I say, you have that other side where those people just aren't stepping up to the table. And a big part of it is because I think that's when they really truly start to understand who they are. Every day somebody wants to open up a business, and I always use the example of, I can cook. Okay, well, what is it? Can you cook? Well, I like to cook chicken. Okay, well, why do you want to cook chicken? It's always these questions. And how do you stand out from being better than your Kentucky Fried Chickens of the world, so to speak? So there's just those thought processes that a lot of times people don't think about. And how does that affect them? Like you said, as an individual, because as the individual, you are that brand. You are that person. It's not the business name. It really is focusing on you.
Especially when you're a solopreneur. Yes. That's the other thing, is that people are buying you. And I think a lot of people don't get that early in the piece. It's like, if you are the service provider, whether you're doing the copywriting, the web design, if you're a coach, no matter what you do, I'm buying you. I'm buying your personality, the way you talk about it, the experience that you're giving me, how I feel when I'm around you, your unique thought leadership. I'm buying you. And I think a lot of people kind of miss that. And I think you've really got to, that's why it's so important to build something that sits around your values, that sits around your purpose. And the other thing that I just want to say as well is really being clear on who you're for and who you're not for. And I think people are a little bit scared to do this. But, when you talked about when people come in to say Brand Builders Academy, they have to do the work. I say that. I'm like, if you are willing to do the work, if you're a doer, if you're somebody who's willing to take uncomfortable action, then I'm the person for you. If you're somebody who doesn't want to be visible, where you don't want to show up and do the work, where you kind of are just really comfortable, then dude, please don't join. This is not for you. And I think that when we really know ourselves, we know our brand, we know our purpose and what we're here to do, I think that we can confidently say, if you are this type of person, then come join the community.
Yeah.
Come be part of it. You are welcome here. This is going to be amazing. You're going to get everything that we're promising because I know you're going to do the work. But that's okay. And it's totally fine if that's not you. But then I can refer you to maybe other coaches or other programs that might be right for you. But this isn't for you if you're not an action taker.
Oh, I love it. If the people are listening, you just hit that. If you are not an action taker, this is not for you. And in reality, though, with Susan, when you're talking about it, it's not just about, like I said, with your business. It's with any business. It's with no matter what you decide that you pick and choose to coach you or what program that you decide to get involved in. If you don't take those steps, there's nothing that's going to benefit. You're going to benefit from it because it's just going to sit there idle. You have to be willing to be that mover and shaker. And sometimes people, I think, especially when I think about some of the generations of today, it's all instant gratification. Everybody wants it right now. I got to have this now. Yeah. I'm out here, I'm doing my thing, and I just need this all now. And not realizing that everything comes with a price. Everything comes with a purpose. And that reality is that you have to be the person to build it. And no matter how much information is sitting in front of you, if you're not willing, you're just not going to go very far. You may be instant overnight, but then where does that lead you down the road?
But I think sometimes we have to say it, which is a funny thing. It's the reality is that sometimes there are people that are like, oh, if I join, then you'll just do it all for me. Right. And, and somehow through osmosis of just being around you, it'll just miraculously happen. And in the next 3 months of working together, I'll become a millionaire. And so I think sometimes we just have to have the real talk, which is another thing that my clients say is, Suz, like, it's so refreshing. I say in the first year of business, I think I made 50,000. Second year, I made 80,000. The next year, I made more. And then we kind of doubled after that. But it took.
It is Ryan Seacrest here. People always say it's good to unwind, but that's easier said than done. The exception, Chumba Casino. They actually make it easier done than said, or at least the same. Chumba Casino is an online social casino with hundreds of casino-style games like slots and blackjack. Play for fun. Play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. Sign up now and collect your free welcome bonus at ChumbaCasino.com. Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply.
Recently, a new client called me and started by saying, Mr. Morgan, I really need your help, but I'm just a nobody. Those words stunned me, and I immediately called him back, and we're now helping him and his family after a terrible accident. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Everybody who comes to our firm at their time of need is a somebody. I grew up poor, but my grandmother was like a queen to us. At Morgan & Morgan, our goal is to level the playing field for you and your family at your time of need. The insurance company has unlimited money and resources. You need a firm who can fight them toe-to-toe. For right at 30 years, we have fought them in courtrooms throughout America. Our results speak for themselves. And always remember this. Everybody is a somebody, and nobody is a nobody. Visit forthepeople.com to learn about our firm, Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Several years to get to a point where the business was sustainable. We had regular clients coming in. We had our system sorted. I'm not going to be like, I started my business and 6 months later we were,
right.
It was flying. I think it's really important for that reality of what it takes to be able to get there and the fact that this is a long game. Hopefully you're going to be in business for the next 10 or 20 years, not for the next 2. Exactly. So I just think sometimes we've got to say it, because some people just think that it's just going to happen. Yeah.
You're right. You're absolutely right. And oh my gosh, this conversation is phenomenal. I'm loving what you're saying. I said your confidentiality, your boldness is enough. It should be enough to make anybody want to get up and do something. Okay. I'm like, go girl. I'm like, go ahead, Suz. I love it. I love it. So I do really want to quickly go over and talk a little bit about you're the author of the Play Big book. Talk a little bit about that book.
Yeah. Play Big, Brand Bold. So it's really a bit of my story and how I kind of took every opportunity that came my way. It's really about saying yes before you actually know what you're doing. And I think that's a really important thing. And then within the book, I also talk about how you build your brand and key elements that you need to start to think about in order to start to become known. I think for me, that's something like I really want to work with people who want to be thought leaders, who want to be visible, who want to be known. And so we talk a lot about that in Play Big, Brand Bold, as well as things like really stepping up as the CEO in your business. I've spoken to a lot of women before. I've interviewed a lot of women for me to really understand what's been going on with them. And one of the key things that I found was a lot of people talked about, them being in their business, but not really like making big decisions or understanding all the things that are going on. And so I talk a lot about what it takes to step up as the CEO in your business, and that you need to understand everything that's going on so that you can make informed decisions, so that you can treat your employee, well, give your employee, a pay rise, do things that a CEO would do. And so Play Big, Brand Bold is really about that. My story, how to build a bold brand and how to play much bigger and take risks and chances to really achieve and realize the purpose that you're here to realize for yourself.
Awesome. I like that. So where can you purchase that book?
You can go to suzchadwick.com and you can find the book there. And we're on Audible if you like to listen to books. Otherwise, we're on all of the main book websites as well, like Amazon and Book Depository and all the rest of it. So you can find all of that on my website.
Awesome. I like that. And then touch a little bit on, I always love talking to other podcasters. So tell me about the Brand Builders Lab podcast.
Yeah. So I've had that since 2017. And it is really all about brand, business, marketing, mindset. I interview people as well. You'll just get the real me on there too. Like we just have a laugh and talk and go deep and have a bit of fun. And, I just think that's something that I really enjoy doing, is sharing my experiences with my listeners as well, and sharing the stories of other people who I really love and respect, and just have really honest conversations, which is always fun.
Well, again, this has been wonderful. I just enjoyed talking to her. It's like, oh, she's just so fluffy. You just like one of those biscuits you've been talking about.
I love it. It's just like, the packet that you just can't stop eating. It's like, until you get to the end. Exactly. I want to be that. Give me more, Suz. I need more.
You definitely have done that for me this evening. I have definitely enjoyed communicating, conversating with you about, being in business and, truly knowing who you are and understanding that your brand's just not, about the physical aspect of it. It is truly about who you are and what's inside of you and how you want to bring this all out to people and how you want to be seen. It's not always just like about the money, but really truly connecting and standing out with people as a whole. So I think that's important, and you have definitely provided that to us this evening. And I appreciate you coming on. But before you go, just one more time, let listeners know where they can connect with you. So if they're interested in being a part of the Academy and joining it and getting themselves bigger and bolder by working with you, please let us know how we can connect with you.
Yeah, so if you just go to suzchadwick.com, which is SUZ Chadwick, and I'm at Suz Chadwick on all socials, but I do like to hang out on Instagram the most. So if you've got any questions or you want to say hi, you can always DM me, and I'd love to say hi. But those are the two main ways, and you can find out all about Brand Builders Academy and my book and the podcast and everything through the website suzchadwick.com.
All right. Well, again, I thank you for coming on and spending some time with me today. Again, I appreciate you being there in Australia, and I know it's morning time here, and it's evening here. And again, I'm sorry that we got crazy with the connection, but hey, we're here. We got it all done. And again, I appreciate you coming on. And for those listening to this, I hope that you truly truly got something out of this great conversation today about what it means to really truly stand out. And if you're sitting back wondering how you're going to reach those goals and you got these dreams in your head, as I always tell you, reach out to me so we can get you connected, so we can get you going. You can reach out to me at Kimberly at WSBILLC@gmail.com, and let's just chat about those dreams and turn those dreams into goals. Also, if you want more of your resource for success, we do accept monetary donations to support the podcast. And there will be information about the Cash App on the DM below, or you can go to www.wsbilc.com. As also, again, I would like to thank you for listening to tonight's show. We will be back next week with more amazing guests. Be sure to follow us on iHeartRadio or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Until then, enjoy the rest of your evening and good night.
Good night, everyone. We will be back next Thursday evening at 7 p.m. Follow us on Spreaker, www.spreaker.com/user/WSBI. View our new WSBI website anytime at www.wsbillc.com and on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Instagram.
It can get lonely climbing Mount McKinley, so to entertain myself, I go to ChumbaCasino.com. At Chumba Casino, I can play hundreds of online casino-style games for free, like online slots, bingo, Slingo, and more. Plus, I get a daily login bonus. It's just too bad that up here, I don't have anyone to share my excitement with. Woohoo! Woohoo!
Live the Chumba life. Anytime, anywhere. Play for free now at ChumbaCasino.com. VGW Group. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
People are driven by the search for better. But when it comes to hiring, the best way to search for a candidate isn't to search at all. Don't search. Match with Indeed. The hiring process can be slow and overwhelming. Simplify hiring with Indeed. Indeed is your matching and hiring platform. With over 350 million global monthly visitors according to Indeed data, and a matching engine that helps you find quality candidates fast. Ditch the busy work. Use Indeed for scheduling, screening, and messaging so you can connect with candidates faster. Join more than 3.5 million businesses worldwide that use Indeed to hire great talent fast. Listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/PODKATZ13. That's Indeed.com/PODKATZ13. Terms and conditions apply.